It is Supernanny Saturday, and I am feeling pumped. I am feeling inspired to talk about parenting today because Dr. Becky Kennedy, the Dr. Becky Kennedy who wrote Good Inside that we talk about all the time on this channel, she was on my favorite podcast yesterday. So I have so many nuggets of knowledge just fresh in my mind as we watch The Miller Family. So grab your beverage and let's dive in.
Supposed to be getting quiet time and calm down for bed. You guys, we have to calm down. It's time to calm down.
I mean, nothing much is happening here, is it? Who's stepping up?
This is bull crap. You and I are gonna have it out here in about 5 seconds. You were trying to give me crap.
God, from one extreme to the next.
We have met the Millers. One parent is permissive, the other parent is authoritarian, and neither one of them are doing the most important job of parenting.
The first thing that I noticed was Avery asking for a bottle.
Look, honey, look.
And Mum didn't stick to her guns at all.
One sip and then we'll give you the bottle. Here, take it. Come on. If I give you the bottle right now, will you try this later? I'll give you a bottle if you try this later.
I'll try it later.
You're gonna try it later. Okay.
Well, there's the permissive parenting example. We have negotiating, we have bribing, both ineffective. And in addition to that, hear me out, this is also encouraging lying. Now you might say, Kristen, what does this have to do with lying? Mom is looking at her daughter and she's like, oh, Baba, you want the Baba? Okay, I'll give you the Baba. But if I give you the Baba now, you're gonna have the sippy cup later, right? Of course that dang child's going to say yes. You just set them up to lie because later on they are not going to have that sippy cup. They will not. Don't set up questions where your child is stuck in a lie. She's putting the responsibility on her daughter to make good decisions, and it's not our children's jobs to make decisions that benefit them. It's ours.
You get to a point of exasperation where you want your kids to listen to you. Come on, I need you to come upstairs. And they don't, and you tell them again, and they don't, and again and again. What do you mean you don't care? Are you gonna talk to me like that? We're done. We're done. And there are moments when you can let it get to you. You think this is funny?
And there's our authoritarian example. Very much because I said so. He wants his kids to listen and he has that tone. And then when they don't listen, he uses his physical body. There is no need to be picking up a child that large. What is he gonna do when he's 15, 16, 17? You can't keep this up. Joe Frost, she has her hands full.
Tell everyone it's time to eat. Girls, can you go put this? Can you go get everybody and tell them it's time for dinner? Oh my gosh, we are not going to fight over who's going to say the prayer.
Landon, stop getting physical, and he just pinched her, David.
Daddy.
Wait, this is kind of overload right now. Can you hold on just a second? Landon.
Not juicy. No.
Landon, let go.
I don't like this, Mom.
Oh, the Millers, they're just trying to have dinner and they call everybody over. They're cleaning the tables. Kids are poking each other. It's just a mess. And let me tell you, transitions are one of the hardest skills to master as a parent of multiples or as a teacher in a classroom. So I'm going to give you 3 ways to avoid a transition mess. Number 1 is have everything set before you pull the children over. So if it's dinner's on the table and everything's ready before you call the children over. Or even an activity, everything's set up on the table, open, ready to go before you call the children over. Number 2, which is even better, if it's a regular activity such as eating dinner, every child has a job. One child is taught that they're in charge of cleaning the table. Another child is in charge of putting the plates down. Another child is in charge of the forks and the spoons and the napkins. However many children you have or students you have, each person has a job that's developmentally appropriate, and you practice that. So it's like a well-oiled machine. It's time for dinner means like everybody goes into their role and their job. And number 3 is you are going to use your body to do the commanding while your voice says something interesting. I use this a lot with students if I'm, I don't have anything prepared and I haven't told them what to do and I just need to survive before problems start arising. It looks like this. I'll say something like, hey guys, did you know that your fingers, if you look at the bottom of your fingers, and all of a sudden everybody's looking at the bottom of their fingers, and my body is like pulling out chairs and having people sit, and they're all looking at their fingers now instead of poking the kid next to them. And I'm going, oh, at the bottom of your fingers, there's lines. If you see lines on your fingers, raise your hand. And as you're talking, you're setting the table and you're moving things and you're getting things ready, but your voice is not saying commands. It's saying something interesting that's capturing their attention. And then all of a sudden, the table's ready to go. It's kind of like being a magician. So that's like expert level.
It's a 4.
What? Hey!
Sorry. It's fine. She said no.
You know what? Give me the damn ball. Go to your room. Go to your room. You don't do stuff like that. That was really stupid. No, that was just a crappy thing to do. And you hurt your sister. There was no apology, no nothing. You did it like you didn't even care. I didn't know it, but Joe was standing just outside the doorway while I was yelling at Kendall.
This was a harsh reality check for Dad. The tone that we use with our children, as well as the language, should really be the same, whether we're in public or we're in private. And if you find yourself at home talking to your child in a way that if somebody were to overhear you, you would be mortified, then maybe this is an area to work on. So what do? You have to have a plan for very common situations. And this is a common situation. Sibling rivalry, one hurting another. So what do? One child hits another child. It is an immediate consequence. No questions asked, no talking about it, just consequence. So I 100% support Dad sending her to her room because it is your job as a caregiver to keep the place safe. And if somebody is not being safe, they need to be removed. But he did not need to use the word stupid, completely unnecessary. Then when he went upstairs to talk to her, he opened up the conversation with negative intent. And what we want to do is open it up with positive intent. So you might be saying to me, well, Kristen, isn't this permissive parenting? No, permissive parenting would have been letting one child hit another in their face and then doing nothing about it. She served her consequence. She went upstairs, she was removed, she missed part of the fun. Consequence served. Now's the time to teach so it doesn't happen again. So when you open up the conversation with positive intent, you'll say something like this. Man, you were so frustrated downstairs, weren't you? That you threw that ball at your sister. Something must have really angered you. What was going on? And then let your child talk. Maybe your child will say something like, she stuck her tongue out at me. Don't interrupt. Don't say, just because she stuck her tongue out at you doesn't give you the right to throw the ball. Shut up. Shut up. It's not time to talk. Let her talk. And then you say, I can see why that was really frustrating. And you throwing the ball probably didn't help the situation, right? Because then you ended up in your room upstairs. So let's talk about what to do when you're frustrated like that. What could you do instead? And by doing that, you're not only giving the consequence because that was an awful thing to do and teaching her that that behavior is not okay, but you're also helping her to be successful in the future.
So what's the first step in fixing this?
Apologizing.
Show your kid by example. Showing your emotions and your soft side. It's not a weakness. It's a strength. And you're about to learn that.
Okay. I was really wrong in the way I treated you. I'm sorry for getting mad. I know I yelled way too much.
I love the skill that Joe Frost gives to the parents about repairing relationships. When we F up as parents, because we will, over and over again, we will yell, we will give the wrong consequence, we will favor one child over another, we will make mistakes over and over again because we are human too. But if we ignore that and not address it with our children, that's the problem. So going to your child to repair whatever happened isn't excusing what they did. And I heard this in Dr. Becky's podcast from yesterday, is when we do that psychologically, we are affirming to our children that what they feel inside, what they think is real, that they don't need to question their reality because they know that how we acted was not okay. And when we pretend like it was, that's very confusing. So affirming to your child that that wasn't okay is so important for their future relationships. And if you want to know more about that, I'll link the podcast in the description if anybody's interested in listening to that.
Joe has been a major blessing to our family. Come on, everybody. A big hug.
This family, they have done all the hard work and the preparation to maintain the change that's happened over the last 2 weeks. And for that, I wish them the best of luck.
Let's see where the family is now. Last week we had a very sad ending, so I hope that today is not sad. This aired in 2011. This is the chart of everybody in the family. So we have mom. At the time, she was 41, dad 40. No. The oldest daughter died in 2018. Why? Let's scroll down and see. I can't. This is the second week in a row. Oh, gosh, guys. It says that Kelsey gave birth to a boy named Asher in 2015. So let's do the math. So if she was born in 1996, she was just under 20. So she was 19 years old when she had her baby. And then she died in 2018 from a drug overdose. Making her the first child to have starred on Supernanny to die post-episode. This is awful. Then one of the daughters got arrested, had a seizure. She fell into cardiac arrest. And I don't even know if, you know what? I don't even know if I want to do these updates anymore. This is awful. Let's look at Kelsey's Instagram. I guess that was her child. I'm going to have to take a beat on how I want to proceed with covering these Supernanny updates. When I first started this channel, I initially did just educational videos. So I would have a video on tantrums. I would have a video on lying. I would have a video on sibling rivalry. And it was okay, but I found it challenging to teach without an exact situation. And I remembered, Kristen, you watch this YouTube channel called Psychology in Seattle. And what he does is he's a psychologist that watches and reacts to Love is Blind, to 90 Day Fiancé. And then he pauses it, just like I do now, and he uses it as a jumping off point to discuss attachment disorders and all kinds of topics within psychology. So I thought, wow, how amazing. What if I watch Supernanny, because I love Supernanny. I've been watching it since I was an older teen, I guess. Why don't I watch that? And then we'll be able to see an exact tantrum situation, an exact situation that's encouraging lying, sibling rivalry, all the things, right? And then I thought, wow, I'm so invested in these families. Why don't we throw in an update? I want to see where they are. And now it's the second week in a row of just the heaviest of updates. And I don't know if it's benefiting the goal of what I want this place to be. I want this to be a community where you feel hope about what you can do in your home after you leave my channel, after you click and you go off and you do whatever you do after this. So my long rambling just to say, I'm going to think about it. Always let me know what your thoughts are. Was this triggering? Are the updates necessary? I don't know. Do we only do the updates that are positive? One thing that we will still be doing next week is spinning the wheel. If you have a family that you would like for me to watch and react to, please let me know in the comments below. There were a few people who added in family names just as I started filming, so they weren't added to the wheel yet, but don't you worry, they will be on there next week. And I wish you all well. Have a wonderful week. Like I said last week, hug all of those that you love and spread kindness. Bye.